Hello again, everyone. For today's lesson, we're going to be making sure that you can properly log in to each of the two websites we'll be using to help with instruction going forward. Now, many of you are already signed up for our class on Khan Academy. I'll be talking briefly about how to go and look for the assignments that I'll be posting for you. The other website, IXL, might be familiar to some of you. I believe the majority of you will need to create an account via the link that I will send you via email. So I'm going to do my best to show you a mixture of the desktop sites and the mobile apps for each of these sites because I don't know what your best way of accessing is. So don't be surprised when this video abruptly switches between landscape mode and portrait mode. We're going to start with Khan Academy. Again, you should already have your login for this. You should already be signed up for the class. Please email me directly if you have forgotten your login information. I can get that to you as soon as I possibly can. We'll start with the desktop version of Khan Academy. Whether you're on a Mac or a PC should not matter. You should see something like this. I am currently logged in as my daughter, as I will be for both of these websites. And you will see, first thing you should see is Mr. Hergenhand's class, or for you, AAG and the period number that you have me, followed by assignments. You click on assignments and you'll see everything according to its due date. Now, if it's got this little arrow next to it, we're talking about a video lesson. So I'll start up. Let's go to Intro to Arc Measure because that's something we've done before.
Is the notion of arc measure when we're dealing with circles. And as we'll see, sometimes when you see something like arc measure, you might think it's the length of an arc, but arc length is actually a different idea. So we will compare these two things.
So yeah, he might be a little bit stale, but at least you can go through this. You can see what happens with all the different things that we've gone over.
Is the measure of the central angle that intercepts that arc. Well, the central angle that intercepts that arc has a measure of 120 degrees.
So you would make your way through this, watch the video all the way to the end, and then you can be able to click on Next Assignment, and that'll either give you the next video or bring you to a practice thing. Now, this is the point where you would be able to go in and say, okay, how many degrees is this arc? Do your math, make sure that you get something right. It says great work, keep on going. If you want to continue doing this, measure of arc ABC all the way around the rest of the circle. Let's see if I can do that math real quick in my head. I believe I can. We'll want to find the measure of one more arc. This whole thing is vertical angles. So I am just going through this very quickly for you guys so you can see how this works. And in fact, what I'll do for the last question is I'm going to get it wrong on purpose. Again, it'll just say not quite, try again, get help, move on. You can decide to do whatever it is you'd like to do here. If you eventually do get it correct, that's awesome. But I do believe once you're done with this, it'll go to show summary. You'll still say it has 3 out of 4 correct. But you're welcome to try again to beat your score. If you click done, it'll bring you back to your page, and you'll have the option to try again for that particular lesson. Now, if you're accessing Khan Academy from the mobile app, whether it's iPhone or Android should be pretty much the same. You'll go ahead and click on the app, and it'll bring you in. This will actually bring you to your home page where you'll see My Assignments at the top. You can see recent lessons that you've done. But if you click See All in the top right-hand corner, it will bring you to that same list that you saw on the desktop version. And again, from here, you can choose to watch videos.
Well, the central angle that intercepts that arc has a measure of 120 degrees.
Or you can go in and complete your review exercises. Now, you'll notice down here, it says complete 75%. That's the same one that we just did again on the desktop version. So you'll click on this, you'll see, oh, it's asking me for the arc measure of ACB in degrees now. I would be able to click in this box and it will give me a custom keyboard that allows me to put in whatever values I may need. For example, if you need to put in the area of a circle in exact form, there will be a pi button here. If you're doing Pythagorean theorem, there may be a radical symbol here, just so that you're able to go ahead and input that. But again, you'll do your math, you'll see what has to be done, you'll put an answer down in here, and continue going on. Now, the second website we'll be using for our assignments going forward, IXL.com. You guys should have gotten an email in your student accounts from IXL. It might say external in the subject field due to the district. You'll click on that and it'll say, hey, your instructor, Mr. Hergenhan, has created an IXL account for you. It gives you the login link. It gives you your username, your initial password. Again, if you'd like to change your password to something more memorable, you're able to do that. So go ahead and click here. You'll be able to see recommendations for where you want to go, whatever. We're going to math, and we want to make sure that we're in the geometry section. So once you're there, you will see this ridiculously long list of topics that are covered under their geometry umbrella. So we'll just go to one of the ones that we've done recently again, arc length. Gives you a circle. Here is its radius. You want to know the length of a 45-degree arc. It asks for an exact answer in simplest form, so if this is the case, you're going to have to use pi. Luckily, just like I said for Khan Academy on the mobile device, if you have to do the pi symbol, it should give you an option to click a button and boom, there it is. Then you just have to figure out what you want your answer to be. If you need it to be a fraction, great, put that fraction in, see how that does for you. It'll say excellent, your SMART score will go up, and you'll continue through this. Now, the end goal of getting through this, I'm going to give you a target grade for the SMART score. Usually it'll be somewhere around 70 or 80, depending on how difficult the topic is, how various the questions are. But you would still have to go through this and say, okay, now I've got an idea of what I'm doing with this. If I was to type in pi and then get whatever my answer is going to be here, and I do believe, if I'm doing this correctly in my head, we get 21/4 pi. You'll notice it only went up by 9 points this time, not 10. The further you get into these lessons, the fewer points it goes up by every time. So you do have to get more and more questions right in order to progress. Speaking of progressing, here's the exact same problem that we had before. Let's test it out. Will it work if you do a decimal instead of a fraction? Absolutely it will. So the good news is it's got that availability. You can do the fraction, you can do the decimal, it'll get the right answer either way. I'm now going to get a question wrong on purpose. So give the exact answer in simplest form, 3 miles. Yeah, that's definitely not right. It didn't have a pi in it. And you'll notice my score went down somewhat. Not too much, but went down a little bit. IXL has what we call adaptive difficulty. As you get questions right, the questions will start ramping up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. If you get a question wrong, it drags you back down a little bit. It'll give you a thorough explanation, though, of how it is you'd find that, how you would have to plug in a radius and use, hey, look, this formula looks like one of the ones that we'd done. It's just written as the linear form instead of the proportion, but you're welcome to do the proportion if that's what's more comfortable for you. And you'll continue this again until you reach your target score, at which point you're done, and you'll get full credit on a homework, for example.
Likewise, if you want to access IXL from the mobile app, again, should be the same for both iPhone and Android. You'll open that app up. It will bring you probably to this menu right here where you'll have your choice of various categories of problems that I'll ask you to do. If you're not already in geometry, please click up here in the top right corner, select geometry from that list. And you'll notice for arc length, it currently has me at a 29 for this score because, well, when I was working on this on the computer, that's where I ended up at the end. So radius of a circle is 10 feet. What is the length of a 180-degree arc? You'd still be able to type in an exact answer here because when you click in the box, you'll have the option to put that pi symbol in there. And then you can just say, okay, now let me figure out what that number would be that I would have to multiply pi by. Submit, get your answer right, continue on, same way as it did before. Questions will get slightly more difficult as you go, but by the end of it, you should be fine getting your answers. If you have to type in fractions instead of decimals, just make sure you type the fraction button first so that it doesn't mess you up, and continue on until you've reached your goal.
Now, the thing that we as math teachers enjoy about IXL, Khan Academy, and the like is that we get to see your progress and you get to see immediate feedback as to whether you've gotten a question right or wrong, as opposed to you submitting a homework to us. It takes us a while to grade it. We might be able to give you feedback on homeworks, we might not. So you guys will notice in my student quick view, the only student I have so far is Natalie,
But I can see, oh, she's answered 7 questions over the course of 3 minutes. She got up to a 33 in this already. That's great. She just needs to continue with it. One other thing I'd like to make sure that you guys know, though, is, again, I said when you create your account, you should be able to change your password to whatever you'd like. But I will be able to see all of your passwords. So you guys know what that means. Please no vulgarity. Please no innuendo. Please nothing inappropriate. Let's avoid me taking a screenshot and send it to your parents. How about that?
So your homework for this lesson, if you can even call it that, is going to be to complete 2 assignments that I give you on Khan Academy and 1 assignment that I'll be giving you on IXL. On Khan Academy, I'll have posted in the Google Classroom assignment. It'll be 2 sections on angles. Because let's keep it easy, let's keep it simple. I'm not trying to test your knowledge of anything, I'm just saying, hey, do some quick math. For IXL, I'm going to ask you guys to do 1 specific section on circles, so something we've done recently, and I'll ask you to get a specific target score. Those, again, will be stated thoroughly in the assignment that you get for this lesson. So, again, please make sure you're able to sign up for both of those. Email me if you have any questions, if you're having any difficulties, and I'll do my best to help you through it. Take care.